Okay. Everything should be working this go around. Should be. Lord willing. Okay. All right. See what kind of trouble we can get into here. Oh. Well. Hey, what's going on? Okay. Hello. Hello. Hey. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hey,
What's up,
show me
man?
your date.
I got a question for you, bro.
Huh?
I got a question for you, bro. What
Show me some.
What do you think about abortion? All right. Hello.
Andrew,
What's up, bro? Got a question for you.
I can't hear you.
You can't? For real?
I still can't hear you. It's like I'm muted. It's maybe the AirPods. Or I don't know.
No way. What is going on? What is going on with my stuff here, man? Oh my gosh. It's picking me up on the thing. I don't. Oh my gosh. Nothing but stinking issues, man. I swear. So they can't hear me? Wait, I don't know he didn't have me muted. Wait. Hey, what's up? Can you hear me? Hey, bro. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I guess not, man. What? I got my dog.
That's why I didn't say nothing, bro. Nah, you back on my
Hello?
Benny says hello.
I think, I'm about to have something wrong. Hello? What's up?
You playing right now?
I'm not playing nothing. What are you doing?
None. You
Man,
playing COD?
I am not playing COD. I am on OmeTV.
Do you play Siege?
I do not.
You don't play Siege? You don't even play Call of Duty?
I play Call of Duty every once in a while, but not
Play
very
GTA?
often. I do not play GTA, no.
Fortnite? Fortnite's for
No.
weekend.
No.
Mm.
Sorry, bud. Okay. Hello? Okay. Hello?
What's good, Andrew?
Not much, man. Got a question for you.
What's up?
What do you think about abortion?
A boyfriend?
Abortion.
Shit, bro. I'm straight.
Abortion?
Oh, abortion. Oh, fuck that, bro. That's actually fucked up for the kids.
Yeah, it's wrong, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. I've got another question.
What's up?
What do you believe happens after we die?
I feel like the dinosaurs are gonna come back. I feel like.
What do you mean by that?
Like, after we're gone, dinosaurs are coming back. Like.
Well, I mean, like, do you believe in a god or anything like that? Or like,
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I believe in God. Allah.
Oh, so you're Muslim?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you? Why do you think that Islam is true?
Islam is true because the fact that like the book came from Allah, like it came down on our prophet Nabi Muhammad.
Okay.
So, and like that book
Mhm.
hasn't changed since like it came out. Like not even one word has been changed of it. And like it tells you everything about the world and what's gonna happen after the world.
Okay. Well, the Bible does the same thing, though.
Yeah. But like in here in America, there's some Bibles that like they change some words in it.
Yeah, I mean, if something's misspelled or Or say, for instance, if we found a manuscript
Yeah.
and it had a word that was spelt different, like, yeah, I mean, you would want the true word in there, right? Like if it's the older manuscript, you're like, okay, this makes more sense. So
Yeah.
it's stuff like that. I mean, there's stories in the Bible that might not be original, but it doesn't have anything to do to affect the gospel. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
know.
So like if you got like for instance, like even the Quran says that the gospel that Jesus came with is the words of Allah, right?
Yeah, but you guys, do you guys believe that Jesus is dead?
That he's dead.
Yeah.
He's not dead anymore. No.
Yeah, but he was never dead.
Well, the Bible teaches that he rose from the dead.
Yeah, which is, I'm not trying to say that's not true because that's disrespectful to your book.
Well, no, I mean, as a person who's in Islam, you should, because if Islam is true, then Jesus didn't die and he didn't rise from the dead.
Yeah.
But the problem is, Jesus said over and over and over again, even just his words, right? He said, "I'm gonna go die. I'm gonna go do this stuff." So, and I've got
I
a
know.
question for you, bro. So, why don't you believe the words of Jesus when he said he was gonna go die and rise
No,
from the
but the
dead?
thing is, in our Quran, it says like Allah took him somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And he created a person that looks exactly like him.
Okay.
And then they hang that person up that looks exactly like
Mhm.
Jesus. So what the Christians believed is that Jesus was dead, but to our belief, Jesus is not dead.
So why would Allah deceive the followers of Jesus?
He's not deceiving, but he just didn't want one of his lovers to like die in pain
Okay.
or something.
Well, okay. So the reason I would say that that's not true, right, is because history, like even apart from our books, right, history says this guy named Jesus came and died, and his followers watched him rise from the dead. I mean, that's why the Christians were getting killed, because they were like, "Yo, we can't go against what we can't lie about what we saw." I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but
the whole point of the gospel, bro. Is like,
yeah, I know.
you know,
But the thing is, do you guys know what Jesus' actual name is?
Yeshua.
What is it?
Yeshua.
Oh, it's Adam.
Adam, like Adam, as in like the first creation, Adam.
Yeah, Nabi.
Okay.
To us, we say Prophet Adam.
Okay.
To us, he's a prophet too.
Mhm.
Okay, so we say
Okay.
Nabi. That when we say Nabi Adam, Nabi Muhammad, that's very respectful. Like we're giving him respect with all of our heart.
Sure. Well, we're here, bro. Oh. Dang. Okay. Well. Okay. Well, let's go back to trying to do abortion. We got off a little bit there. Okay. Hey, what's going on? Oh. Hello. What's up, man?
Hey.
Got a question for you.
What?
What's your take on abortion?
You
don't know?
It's up to people what they want to do with their bodies.
Okay, well, I guess if you want to work with that kind of logic, right, it wouldn't be the woman's body, though.
Yeah, it is.
How?
Because it's her body that she's
well, it's right. I mean, it's like in her womb, right? But the thing that's in her body, biology says it's a separate being.
So, okay. I have a hypothetical.
Okay.
Do you know what cancer is?
Absolutely, but that's a category error, because cancer and a human are not the same thing. Even if cancer was it's a full like growth, but it's not a human.
Hang on. I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm just doing an analogy.
Okay, go ahead.
That is living off a person's body, and it is different DNA from that person. That's what makes it cancer. That's what makes it a tumor. Well, it's similar, but it's different.
It's not different DNA though. It's not a separate organism.
Do you know what? Sorry, what?
Like a cancer. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Like a cancer cell, it's not it developed in the human. It's not this like foreign entity.
Exactly. Well, but it becomes a foreign entity. It's not part of the person anymore. Okay, so cancer, right? When one of your cells mutates, let's say skin cancer, melanoma. So when UV radiation hits the skin, there's not enough melanin to block it. It mutates the DNA.
Okay.
That means the DNA is different, and it basically makes the cell that it affects not unable to die, but apoptosis, which is cell death, is significantly declines. And that's what a tumor is. It's just unregulated cell growth, and the cells are different from regular somatic cells. So that is a different, it's not necessarily an organism in and of itself, but it's different from the body. And killing it, like, you know, it's your choice to get rid of it.
Obviously if you have cancer, it's going to kill you. But
but even some people that have children might kill them.
Yeah, but the difference is you have a new unique set of DNA growing in a woman's womb that was created to grow with that thing inside of it, right?
That's true, but cancer DNA is different from your DNA as well.
But at the same time, cancer is not a human life.
But neither is a fetus.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Not yet. It's a fetus, not a human.
What is the DNA the moment that conception happens per biology books? The moment the sperm eats the egg.
Yeah.
Per biology books, what do they say happens there? If you got one, you reaching for one? I thought you were reaching for a book right there. Go off. So look up in there. Well, I mean, I'm not sure either, but if you look up in there, it'll tell you when life begins. It'll say at conception. Without a doubt. I mean, it's a new human life.
See.
Here, I'll Google it real quick for you.
Conception.
So here, this is from the National Institutes of Health.gov. The biological line of existence of each individual, without exception, begins precisely when fertilization of the egg is successful. So what does that mean? At conception, right? At the moment the sperm eats the egg, there's a new.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really listening right now. I'm trying to find something. In the book. Okay. 77:45.
Getting close?
Yeah, so it's a zygote. I mean, yeah, that's true. It doesn't say anything about conception happening the moment.
Well, I mean, if I can read, I mean, it says nationalinstituteofhealth.gov. So this isn't a biased website. Right. I think we can agree on that.
Before we can agree on the NIH.gov is not biased, what did you search to find that?
When does human life begin?
Okay.
It says, when does human life begin? The biological line of existence of each individual, without exception, begins precisely when fertilization of the egg is successful.
Okay, I see the article, yeah.
Yeah, so the moment that the sperm hits the egg, what's happening? New life is formed. So even if you can say, well, it's an underdeveloped fetus, or it's like, the size of a mustard seed or something, it doesn't matter. It's still a human life. Like, it doesn't matter how big or small it is, right?
It's not a human life. It's life.
No, it's a human life.
It's not a human yet.
What kind of DNA? Okay, well, hold on.
Is one single cell of zygote taken out of the body, does that have does it have the ability to become a fully functioning human? If it is its own entity by itself, outside of the body.
It is its own entity by itself. It's just being grown and fed by the mother. Well, if we're gonna say that location matters, Right. So would you say that abortion should be up to 9 months?
Wait, how long is the gestation period for humans again?
9 months.
Oh, well then, I mean, yeah. It honestly, a lot of it is circumstantial.
What do you mean?
I mean, you know, if a person knows for that whole 9 months and then
Yeah.
they decide to get an abortion, like right at like that 9-month mark, when it's like almost fully developed,
Yeah.
I don't think morally that's quite right, especially if they knew and that they had all this time to decide what the implications could be before making action.
Okay.
But you know, again, it's circumstantial. It really depends on.
Well, but circumstances don't determine human value, right? Like you wouldn't say based on a certain circumstance that you have value, right? Like for instance, like if your parents came up on hard, I'm not sure how like old you are, but say your parents came up on hard times and they lost a bunch of money and they're like, well, hey man, you got to go. We're just gonna take you out because we don't have the money to afford this.
But I'm conscious.
Okay. So if you want to take it to its logical conclusion, though, should we be able to kill people in comas?
Again, circumstantial.
Why?
If they have the ability or the chance that they will be okay later on, and then I don't think it's right. But
well, hold on, just pause.
Yeah.
If they are able to become like viable again, like with consciousness, so does the fetus. It's the same thing. The person who's in a coma is able to be viable again in the future, but so is the fetus that's killed by the mother in the womb.
Before you cut me off, I was going to say,
sorry,
that a human is kept on life support for like 30 years, even at that 31-year mark, if they're going to be okay again, or like at least conscious again. If they're out for 30 years, then I think or however many years, it's at that point, it's up to the family because the medical, I don't know what the term is, but the decision is passed on to them. What happens? You know what I mean?
Sure. So should the mom, like say the guy's been in a coma for a month, the mom runs in there and stabs him in the chest with a knife. Is that wrong or right?
Well, that's kind of a really weird hypothetical because if a mom's child is in a coma, she's the parent, and if she has, the legal, again, I'm not sure what the term is, but the authority to make the decisions about his medical situation.
Okay.
Why would she stab him in the chest? That makes no sense.
Well, that's my point. With your argument, you said consciousness,
or in a less cruel way than stabbing him in the chest. That makes
well, why is that cruel?
Because you're stabbing him in the chest. You can take him off, or that's
baby. If we're going to be consistent with that, babies get ripped apart in the womb by like clamps and stuff. Isn't that pretty cruel?
But that's how abortions are carried out. If somebody's life is going to be terminated when they're in a coma, you don't stab them in the chest. The procedure is to take them off life support.
Yeah,
that's just what it is.
Yeah, but that shouldn't matter though. You're killing them either way. It doesn't matter how you kill them. They're gonna die. The same thing like if you take a pill to get an abortion.
Kill them. If you're saying it doesn't matter how they kill them, then if a pregnant lady wants to have an abortion and the doctor comes in there and like shoots her in the stomach, like is that
that's a horrendous crime and he should go to prison for it.
Anyway,
It's the what? Sorry. Do what? What'd you say? At the very end.
You're given an abortion either way, so why does it matter the method? That's basically what you're.
It does matter the method because at the end of the day, we're killing innocent human life.
The method does matter.
No. In general, because you shouldn't be able to kill children. For instance, like if we're going to use,
that's not a child.
It is a new human life in the womb per science.
Not a child.
Okay, so at the 6-month mark, what is that thing in the mother's womb? It's a developing baby.
It's an embryo.
It's a developing baby. You can use all kinds of words to dehumanize because, I mean, if we're being honest, bro, the slave trade, the slave owners did the exact same thing. The Hitler did the same. No, they said that they were not fully human.
Wait. Hang on. 1 second. I just
Go
want
off.
to. Okay. So you're telling me that this is a child?
Yeah, it has human DNA.
Okay.
It's not a dolphin. That's not a dolphin.
It is.
Okay, well, if that's a picture of a dolphin, no. I mean, I get your point, but at the same time, it doesn't matter what it looks like. Like, we can't kill midgets because they're small, right?
Well, yeah, but they're also people that.
That's also a person in the womb.
That was a dolphin. I don't know what you're talking about.
I understand what you're saying, but does it matter what stage of development somebody is in? Should I be able to kill like a 1 week old after they're born?
No.
Why?
Because that's in a live human person.
It's an alive human person 10 minutes before it's born too.
Yeah, but nobody's getting abortions 10 minutes before.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Really, they're getting abortions while they're in labor.
Did you not hear about the thing? Well, I can't remember what state it was in, but they were talking about babies born that had to be resuscitated, and then they would let the parents decide what they wanted to do after it's born, like as far as to kill it or not. They would resuscitate the baby, and the governor.
What's the source?
I can't remember this. Like this was a big deal. This was like maybe not even a year ago. You can Google it. Here, pull it up.
NPR.org. Partial birth abortion ad. I'm not finding anything.
Well, I mean, it was a big deal. It was basically that this governor was talking about it. He was on like a radio show or something, and he was talking about it. But anyway, I mean, this was 6-7 months ago, or maybe a little bit longer than that. But the point is, we can't dehumanize children, right? Like, like it doesn't matter what a child looks like; it's still a child, right? Like if it comes out with Down syndrome, it's still a child.
That's still a child, yeah. But
so what's the difference 10 minutes before it's born? If it's in the womb, because go ahead.
Again, that's kind of a stupid question because nobody's getting abortions while they're giving birth.
People can get 9-month abortions.
If that's even real, because I couldn't find anything.
Not 9-month abortions are a thing. You can get abortions up to birth.
Yeah, but that's not while giving birth.
But you get my
like exactly at the end of that 9.
But it doesn't matter. You can kill a baby that's 9 months in development in the womb.
Yeah, but that's not while during childbirth. You said 10 minutes before.
Okay. My point is if it's not born yet, if it is legal up to 9 months, then you can get an abortion 10 minutes before you give birth. If it's legal all the way up.
Just by curiosity, where are 9-month abortions legal? Like what states?
You can Google them here. So there is no limit on abortion in Oregon, Colorado. I'm looking at a map. New Mexico, DC. That's a state. New Jersey, Vermont, and Alaska. It says that there's no limit.
What's the source?
Axios.com. It's just a map. How late into pregnancy abortion is allowed. There's just a big map of it.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah. I don't know why I can't get it. Yeah. Not finding any straight answers on here.
Well, so this is given like fertilization up to 6 weeks, like basically how far out you can get abortions. 24 weeks I'm not sure if you can see the same thing. The pink states are all 24 weeks. and then no limit is the gray ones. And you got 7 of those. So there's 7 states you can get up to term abortion.
Huh. Yeah, I can't find any straight answers. That's weird. Okay, well.
Okay, well anyway, the whole
Yeah.
my whole point in talking about this is, man, and you're even doing it too, like you're dehumanizing children, and the same dehumanizing tactic that was used in the slave trade, that was used with the Nazis and the Jews. It's the same MO, and you can't get around that, because a human life is at conception. That's what I mean. We can both agree that source said it. That .gov website said that, right?
They said that life, not human life.
What kind of DNA does that embryo have?
They have their own unique DNA. They're not a.
What kind of
person
DNA?
Until they're born.
What kind of DNA is in that embryo?
What do you mean by what kind of DNA?
What life form is it? Is it a dolphin? Is it a gorilla?
What
kind of DNA is inside that zygote?
Homo sapien DNA. Yeah.
As in.
You can say human DNA.
Human.
That the 4
It's
cells
a human.
in a uterus is a person.
Yes, it is a person.
It's not a person.
So, for example, 100 years ago, or however long, 150 years ago, when they were saying that you could own black people as property, that when the slave owners would say "my property, my prerogative," if you don't want a slave, don't own one. When they're saying this stuff, does that mean that black people objectively aren't people? That they're actually just property?
No, because they are people.
Okay. So why are they people when everybody else said that they weren't?
Because of the definition of what a person is.
So, but you would say that even if we have a faulty definition of what a person is still a person. Yeah.
Huh?
Even if we have a faulty definition of what a person is, if somebody says a black person is not a person, they're objectively wrong, even 200 years ago when nobody agreed with that.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So the same thing here. You're using words like zygote, you're using words like all this, which are medical terms, granted, but they're used to dehumanize these children. Just like Hitler would tell all of his, military members that Jews were what? They're rats. They're not human. And it was easier for them to kill them because of that. When you dehumanize something, you can make a black person a slave because you can dehumanize them.
Yeah, that's true. That's a valid point.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Because it's different.
How?
It's not a person. I'm a person. You're a person. This is not a person. It can't think. It can't talk.
Is that actually a human embryo?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So it doesn't. So can somebody who can't talk, that's mute, is that not a person?
I said can't think, can't talk. It's not.
Okay. So what? Somebody that's brain dead. Is that not a person?
But I'm also not saying that as a definition. And back to the brain dead point, if someone doesn't have the chance to get better, then it doesn't matter. But in that case, like I said before, it's up to whoever has the authority over that to decide what they want to do with that person's life.
So again, I'll kind of go back to the slavery thing. Those people that owned slaves were determining the value of them and what they were, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So some person giving value to another person doesn't make that value valid.
That's true, but this isn't a person.
That is a person.
That's not a person.
What kind of DNA does it have?
Human DNA.
Okay. So it's a person.
No.
It doesn't matter if it's conscious or not, because we've already said if somebody's in a coma, I can't stab him in the chest.
Who has certain capabilities or attributes such as reason, morality, consciousness, self-consciousness, and being part of a culturally established form of social relations such as kinship, ownership of property, and legal responsibility. That's like the first definition of person that comes up when you Google definition.
Okay, so if somebody doesn't have a moral framework, they're not a person?
I'm not saying that one of those definitions completely makes up what a person is or not. It's a grouping of all these different attributes that makes a person a person.
Okay.
It's
but that
not including and only including.
But if you lost any of those things, does that devalue you as a person?
Not necessarily,
okay.
But if you lose all those things, then you are not a person. If you don't have
you're
anything,
not a person.
No, if you are not a being, you don't have reason, you don't have consciousness, you don't have morality, you don't have self-consciousness, you're not part of a culturally established form of social relations, and you have no property or legal responsibility, then you're nothing. You're not a person. You're like a tree or a seed or like a stuffed animal. Like, no. Come on. Yeah.
No, but again, you're taking the same idea that the slave owners had for black people and attributing it to babies. They use the same arguments.
Human people. No, it's not.
Really? If somebody said my property, my prerogative, what does that sound like?
Well, personally, I've never heard that phrase before. I was going to say, this is all based in science. And in fact, they were basing it off of what gives them the most monetary value. They're also basing it off of...
How did scientists view black people?
Huh?
How did scientists view black people back then?
Scientists back then. No.
Back then...
Existed, dude.
Do what?
They didn't think that dinosaurs existed.
Okay, well, that doesn't matter.
Science back then is very different than science now, and I think we both know that. So
yeah, I mean, we can agree that it's progressed, but if you're going to use that logic that science back then was wrong, how do you know that science today isn't wrong and that it won't change? If the science back then with black people was wrong, and we can agree on that, how do we know people aren't going to be looking back today and be like, wow, that was inhumane, that they were slaughtering children in the womb?
Because we have equipment and technologies that assures us that this is correct. Back then, they had ideas, and they didn't have anything that could have possibly made them make those judgments, except for like seeing and hearing and thinking. Mm-hmm. We have equipment and science and fact.
Okay. They had facts back then. They would say that they do.
Yeah, but those weren't really based in anything.
I mean, it was based on what they saw, right? Yeah, if you're gonna take that, if there's
thing, that's just what they think. It's not based on it. Like I can say, I see. It's a good thing to do here. I don't know. I can't even think of anything right now for that analogy. But seeing something and saying that that is the way it is, 100% as a fact, that's not true. And I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah, because atheists say that there is no God, even though there's a world. So, I mean, atheists say that there is no God, even though that they can agree that it came from nothing at one point.
Well, actually, I don't think they agree. There are a lot of theories of how...
Yeah, but theories.
Out.
Theories.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all it is. It's just a theory. It's not proven.
Yeah.
I mean,
we don't know in fact how this all came about.
Yeah, I do. For sure. God said, let there be light, and there was light. And then, what's that?
People believe different things.
People do believe different things, but there's only one objective truth.
There is, and we don't know which one it is yet.
Yeah, we do.
That your objective truth is the objective truth, but...
No, there's only one objective truth.
Yeah. What you think is the objective truth may not be the objective truth.
Okay. So if somebody rose from the dead, and that objectively happened in history, wouldn't that be objectively true?
If it happened, then yeah.
It did. We have the eyewitness accounts.
We have eyewitness account of Sasquatches and aliens. Do you think that both of those things exist?
No, but at the same, well, I mean, it kind of depends. If there was actual literal evidence of it, yeah, not just blurry photos. But 2000
evidence in your mind, you were saying that eyewitness of a human coming back from the dead is valid evidence. So why isn't eyewitness of somebody seeing Bigfoot valid evidence?
Well, so if that person, like for instance, let's say that somebody made up that they saw Sasquatch, okay, and that person convinced everybody, but there was one person that was like, no, I know you're lying. The person that was aware of the lie went and kidnapped the dude that said he saw Sasquatch, tied him to a table, and he said, I'm going to skin you alive unless you admit that you made up the Bigfoot story. What do you think that guy's going to do?
I mean, he's probably going to lie.
You think he's gonna wait? No. You think?
Okay. In this hypothetical, did he actually see Bigfoot or not?
No, he didn't. He knows it's a lie. He made it up.
Well, then he's going to admit his lie.
Okay, there you go.
Obviously,
so
get skinned alive.
Well, listen, exactly. And how does that tie in with Christianity? The apostles of Jesus. The reason we can trust that their eyewitness. What's that?
You just said that the dude lied about seeing Bigfoot.
Yep. It's going to tie in. Watch. We have the apostles. I'm not sure how much you know about Christianity. We have the Bible, the New Testament, written by the apostles that followed Jesus. Okay. We have that whole book of eyewitness accounts. And how do we know that those accounts are trustworthy? For the same reason. Do what?
We don't.
Well, we know the Bible's been preserved. So if the Bible's been preserved and it hasn't been corrupted, then we have to look at the evidence. Okay, who are these people? They were the ones that followed Jesus, and these people were willing to be tortured to death for something that they knew was a lie, kind of like the Sasquatch thing. If these apostles who said
Sasquatch thing, because they were willing to be tortured to death for something. You were in the Sasquatch one. You were saying that he would be tortured if he didn't admit that what he saw was a lie.
Because he knew it was a lie. So if he didn't admit that it was a lie, he would be tortured and killed for nothing, or he would save his own skin.
And the apostles knew that what they thought was a lie. Your logic isn't.
No. The apostles saw what they saw, and they knew it was true. So either it was a lie that they were willing to be tortured for, and they knew it was a lie, or it was true, and they were tortured for the truth. Mm-hmm. So, and again, would anybody in their right?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So would anybody in their right mind be tortured for something that they knew was a lie?
I mean, realistically, probably not. But
right. Realistically, exactly.
But if they thought what they saw was real, but it turned out it wasn't? What if the dude in this hypothetical saw a really tall, really hairy man? He was like, "Holy shit, that's Bigfoot," and he was sticking to his guns while he was being skinned alive, even though that wasn't Bigfoot. But in his mind,
that's true. But because we have over 500 witnesses.
But what if like 20 people out in the forest saw this big hairy man and we're like, "Holy shit, we all know that that's Bigfoot"?
Well, at that point, they wouldn't know either or. But if you see some guy that you watch get stabbed with a spear in his side, come back to life after he said he was going to do that, and in fact they actually didn't even believe it afterwards, because they watched him get killed on the cross, right? And then they ran away. So they literally hightailed it because they were like, we got tricked. And then they're willing to turn around after they witness him alive again and go tell everybody about it. And they were performing miracles, and they were doing all kinds of stuff, raising people from the dead. So again, you have to go back to the motive. Nobody's going to, especially a whole huge group of people, is going to get killed for something that they know was a lie. That they know.
Talking about, they think that the Sasquatch is real.
Yeah, but how could you fake a death 2,000 years ago?
I'm not saying that the death was faked. I'm saying that maybe what the people saw wasn't real. And I'm also not saying that what you believe in is fake. I'm just saying that there is some flaws to this logic.
Like what?
Like what I just said. What if the people saw something that didn't actually happen?
What do you mean? Like a hallucination?
Not saw something that didn't actually happen. Saw something and misinterpreted as something else.
So if somebody, for example, the apostles saw Jesus walk up to them. He came into the room. And for instance, there was actually this one guy named Thomas, bro. And he was like, I'm not going to believe that Jesus actually rose from the dead unless he lets me put my fingers in his wrist where the nails were and in his side where he's pierced with a spear. And Jesus showed up and let him do both of those things.
And how do we know that these witnesses weren't lying about that?
Because they were tortured for their testimony.
Yeah, but how do we know that they weren't just lying and sticking to their guns?
So you think somebody would know something's a lie and be skinned alive, crucified upside down, boiled in oil, crucified regularly, be beheaded for something that they knew was a lie? Would you be crucified for a lie?
What if they didn't know it was a lie?
Well, you have to prove.
I mean, no matter what, I wouldn't want to be tortured. So I would say yes to whatever they wanted me to, so I wouldn't be tortured, whether or not I thought it was right or wrong, whether or not I thought it was a lie or not. No matter what, I would say, yeah, no, I'm lying. Don't skin me.
Okay, well, unless it was true and Jesus told you to have eternal life.
No, I'm lying, so I didn't get killed.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause-
then you wouldn't be a true follower. That's the point. These guys actually witnessed him rise from the dead, and they were willing to be murdered for it. And you already agreed with the logic that nobody would be tortured willingly for something that they knew was a lie.
I mean, maybe not nobody. There are some crazies out there, but for the most part.
Okay. So you have 12 people. That it's 12 people
But
specifically.
that's true. Yeah, 12 of them aren't going to be all crazies. Well, probably very low chance.
Exactly. So that's my point,
But how
man.
did
So
tie back to the whole abortion thing? I thought
Go
that
back.
was kind
Do
of
what?
side. We're kind of
yeah,
going
no. Well, we did, but it does tie into it because either people are made in the image of God and they have intrinsic value, or they don't. And at the end of the day, when we use words to dehumanize children that are developing in the womb, because at every stage, I think up to 25, you're not fully developed by 25. I just turned 26, and your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25. So I would have been an underdeveloped human being up until that point. And all an embryo is a human in a lower stage of development than I am. That's all it is.
Dude, an embryo becoming a baby, that developing is not the same as a 16-year-old's brain becoming a 25-year-old's brain.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's a human in development regardless of how small it is. And science even agrees with that. It's a new human life though at conception.
It's an embryo or a fetus that's developing into a human. It's not been developing.
Fetus just means baby.
It's not a person developing into a more developed person. It's a fetus developing person.
It's a person developing into a more distinct person.
What do you define as person? What is your
human being? Anything with human DNA made in the image of God.
Anything with human DNA, that's your
Anything.
definition.
And you can't do category error with cancer because that is not unique human DNA that was created by a man and a woman.
So anything with human DNA is a person.
Anything that was created that is a human being,
so then what's a human being?
Somebody that was created via sexual intercourse. If you want to get real specific.
Okay. So you take via sexual intercourse only?
A person that was once an embryo in somebody's womb because sperm met egg, and per science, that's a new human life.
Does it have to be in the womb?
Anytime it's created, it's a human life. So like snowflake babies, IVF.
So you take a sperm and an egg,
mm-hmm.
and in vitro fertilize them. You take that one zygote and you throw it on the concrete outside.
Yep. You just murdered somebody.
That's a person.
You just murdered somebody. Yep.
Okay. So I think at this point it's not a difference in like how do I say this? I just agree with you at this point. I don't think that's a person.
Well, you're disagreeing with science. You're taking science's definition and you're putting your philosophical view on it. You don't think it's a person, but science says it's a new human life.
We're both putting our own philosophical on what science says.
Science says it's a new human life.
It doesn't. Human life. It's not a person. I'm saying it's not a person. I'm not debating whether or not it's human life.
Okay. Well, personhood.
There's human DNA in that cell, but if you take DNA and you put it in E. coli, that doesn't make it a person.
In what?
In bacteria.
Well, it's not a fertilized egg.
Yeah, but if you take the DNA from that, so the cell that has the human DNA, it has the human DNA. That's what makes it a person in your mind.
You talking about sperm?
No, I'm talking about the zygote.
The zygote has a new, unique human DNA apart from the mother and the father.
Human DNA is what makes it a person in your mind.
Fertilized egg with human DNA within it, yes, that makes it a person.
So if you take the DNA, the new DNA that happened in that event of fertilization, and you put it into a different cell, like an E. coli cell, and you take out that E. coli's DNA and you replace it with human DNA, is that a person in your mind?
If you took a fertilized egg that at the moment of conception, per science, is a new human life, and you destroyed it in some way or mixed it with something else, you would be killing a new human life.
So I'm just confused. You said that the human DNA in that cell makes it a person. If you
Yeah.
remove that DNA and put it into a different cell, is it still a person?
Okay, are you talking about you're taking the newly formed zygote and putting it inside of something?
No, you're taking the DNA out of the zygote and putting it into a different cell, like a bacterial cell.
I guess I don't know how you can do that.
It's
a fertilized egg. If you have a fertilized egg and you're willfully destroying it anyway, that's murder.
You're not destroying it. You're just taking out the DNA.
What do you mean taking out the DNA?
Is the cell the person, or is the cell with the DNA the person, or is the DNA the person in your mind?
Fertilized egg. The egg itself isn't a person. The sperm itself isn't a person, but when they join, they create unique human DNA.
Yeah,
which is a new life.
That we can agree on. It is human life, for sure. That cell, after fertilization, that's called a zygote. That zygote is the DNA or the cell what makes it a person in your mind. Do you understand what I'm asking?
No, but I guess not. I mean, it's just if the sperm met the egg was fertilized, that is officially a person. That's what that is, and I think we can both agree on that, like you already said. But I think we can also agree on the definition of murder, which is the unlawful premeditated killing of a human being by another.
Yeah, that's true. That's facts. I mean, that's what the law says, but yeah.
Well, that's if you murder a human being, then you're committing murder. So if it's a new human life in the womb and a person's killing it without justification, then that's murder.
That's not a human being. That's a human cell.
Okay, you're playing with semantics. It's a human life, regardless if it has personhood outside the womb. It's still a human life. It doesn't matter if it's a baby that's a week old or zygote. Yeah.
But the definition of murder is the unlawful premeditated killing of another human being. If you destroy
a human life is a human being.
So that's, I think, where we differ, because I don't think that human life necessarily is human being. If I shed a somatic cell and it's laying here on my desk as a skin cell, that's human life in my opinion. That's not a human being.
You said a skin cell?
Yeah, you shed a skin cell. It has all of the instructions to make an entirely, or not new person, but to make an entire person. And if it dies, even if I destroy it, that's not murder.
Your skin cells are not the same thing as a baby, bro.
That's true, but it has all the same DNA. Me, the zygote that
it has your DNA,
exact same DNA as one of my skin cells, and that's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It has your DNA, but it's not somebody else's. You didn't. It's not your DNA going into somebody else, making new unique DNA, and then you killing it, like scraping it off like a piece of dead skin on your desk is not the same thing.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying that human life doesn't necessarily mean human being.
Human life is human life regardless.
That's true. I'm not saying that it's a human.
So if I kill
being.
Do what?
What?
What'd you say? Go ahead.
Not all human life is human beings. Not all human life.
Okay. So here, I'm gonna do the human being, a definition of a human being. Any individual of the genus, and I might be butchering the word, genus, whatever, Homo, especially a member of the species Homo sapien, a person, especially distinguished from other animals representing the human species. That's a human being.
Suppose I was taking human being as a, what is that word? Synonym as a person.
Yeah, personhood doesn't matter. If they have human DNA, it's a human being.
Okay, so I can agree on that.
If you go to the definition of murder, an unlawful premeditated killing of another human being by another. So in my worldview, somebody who murders somebody deserves the death penalty, but the death penalty isn't murder. That's justified killing of another human life. Okay, but unjustified premeditated killing.
Wait, pause for a second.
Go ahead.
Did you say that the death sentence isn't murder?
No, it's justified punishment.
Okay, so
like a rapist deserves to die.
Okay, sure. I guess it does say unlawful in terms of murder.
It's unjustified taking of human life.
It says unlawful.
but unjustified. If somebody breaks in my house and I shoot them in the chest and they die, that is justified lawful killing. If I walk out on the street in my neighborhood and shoot my neighbor's kid,
that's unlawful. Okay, so you're saying that if it's lawful, then it's not murder?
If it's lawful, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if it was legal. If the United States made it legal for me to walk outside and I get one killing a day, I go out there and murk my neighbor's daughter. It doesn't matter if the government said it's okay. That's still morally wicked. I think we can agree on that.
But is that murder?
That is murder. Yeah, still murder. Regardless, objectively, it's murder. Yeah.
Okay, sure, but you just said it's okay. It's a little bit, what you're doing is not like super consistent, because
what do you mean?
At one point you're going off completely definitions, like word for word. This definition is this, so that means that's what that is. Murder is the unlawful premeditated killing of another human being.
Yeah.
If the government said it's okay, that means it's lawful. So what you just described,
no, that's still objectively
is not murder.
Okay, so if the government is the arbiter of what is moral and what is not, objectively?
No, but they're the arbiter of what's lawful and what's not. And you,
but objectively,
no. The definition of murder as unlawful premeditated killing of another human being.
But they got that from the Bible.
They got that definition from the Bible?
Yes. If you like, morality is subjective without an omnipotent, all-powerful God.
We are not talking about morality here.
Yes, we are. This is a moral question. This is a moral question.
But I'm talking about murder.
Murder is a moral crime.
Yeah, but you went off the definition before as saying the unlawful, not the unmoral.
It's always unlawful to murder somebody, regardless what a government thinks about it, right? Murder is objectively evil, right?
But not when somebody breaks into your house. It's not evil.
That's not murder. That's not murder.
So okay, so then what do you consider murder?
Unjustified killing of any human life.
Okay, so then you're not going straight off the definitions.
No, because for instance,
okay. So hang on. Per your new definition, is all abortion murder?
All abortion is murder. Yep.
So okay, in a situation where, let's say, like a young girl is raped and she's having a baby, and there's like a 98% chance, or let's just say there's 100% chance that she'll die if she has this baby.
Yeah.
It then justified for that girl to get an abortion. There is
no, because she can get a C-section, and you also shouldn't kill children for the crimes of their father. Like there are a bunch of people that are products of rape that are happy that they're not killed. Yeah, I mean, so you can't say that this guy raped this girl, and now she has a kid. That doesn't mean commit two crimes.
So this girl, let's say she has a C-section. Yeah. Now she has a baby that she can't care for.
Yeah.
And that baby's not going to grow up having a good life. It's going to be, and if it's going to have an awful life, and it's going to make that other person's life awful.
Awful as in like what?
And like 4 weeks later, she has an abortion after getting raped. How is the removal of a very, very, very extremely underdeveloped zygote unjustifiable if it means that going through with it is going to have an extremely negative impact on both the girl's life and the future person's life?
Well, because we've already agreed. Well, here, I'm going to ask you two questions. All right, I'll answer it. I'm going to ask you another question. If we've already agreed that a zygote has human DNA, and so that's a human being.
No. Well, yeah.
Yes,
okay.
It's a human being, and if you kill a human being, it's murder. So if you kill the zygote without justification, that the zygote didn't rape anybody, it didn't murder anybody. There's no reason to kill it. It's a literal innocent human life. Yeah. But okay, do what?
It's going to kill the person if she has it.
It's not murdering her though. The baby isn't maliciously clawing out of the mother's stomach to kill it. Like the baby's not like, it's not with intent.
But if there's a dude that's psychotic and he is not intentionally killing people, but he's driving around in the car all recklessly and like smashing into 12 pedestrians, should not lock him up?
No, he should go to jail for murder.
Yeah.
But anyway, if we get back to our original question. Okay, so I would like you to define, because you were like, this person's going to grow up with an awful life. I want you to define what an awful life is for that kid to grow up in.
I mean, I wouldn't know how exactly to define that.
Like
I mean,
poor,
if
if they're
if
abused.
you're going to be hungry for days and days and days as a young child, and they're not going to get the right parenting, and they're not going to have the success later in life
Mm-hmm.
because they missed out on being parented by a fully like past how do I say it, like an adult
Yeah.
parent, and they don't know how to go on with life, and they're just not gonna succeed. They're gonna be poor. They're gonna
Yeah.
be on the streets. They're gonna be cold. They're gonna be hungry for the rest of
Yeah.
their life. I don't think that's a good life
Okay.
in my.
So we should kill all the hungry poor kids.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, you just said that
I'm
kid
saying-
shouldn't
okay,
be allowed to grow
okay.
up because it's hungry and poor.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be allowed to grow
No,
up.
no,
I'm
no, no. You just
that the
said
whole
that if that kid's gonna have.
so that doesn't happen. If there was a dude that is gonna like enact a law that's gonna send a bunch of children hungry and cold,
Yeah.
then I'm not saying you should kill them, but I'm saying that you shouldn't let that happen, which when brought over to the other example would be an abortion.
Yeah, so if you start killing kids so if we knew that kids were going to be born poor and abused, should we kill those kids?
Should you are you saying kill or abort?
Abortion is murder. And we've both agreed on
Okay.
that, the unjustified killing of
Okay.
human life.
No, I mean, we didn't agree. So
Yeah, you did.
no, because it says unlawful.
A human being. Hold on.
Murder.
No. It's a human being that did nothing to deserve the death penalty. Therefore, it's murder.
If we're going off just like the first definition of murder that pops up from
There's only
Oxford-
one definition of murder.
What?
There's only one definition of murder.
Yeah, so if we're going off that one definition, it says unlawful. If abortion is lawful,
Yeah.
then by definition it's not murder.
Yes, it is. It's an innocent human being that you're killing.
You just said there's one definition of murder.
The unjustified
It's
killing of
definition
human life.
Unlawful premeditated killing of one human being by another.
Okay, so if there's a baby,
Is it? Yeah.
if there's a baby and you walk up to it and start ripping its arms off,
Yeah.
is that murder? And it dies. It's murder.
That's murder.
Okay,
yeah.
Why? Why is that murder?
What do you mean why? Because it's
No, explain it. It's
if you-
unlawful.
premeditated. Yeah, it's unlawful.
It's premeditated. It's unjustified killing of human life. If somebody is worthy of the death penalty, they deserve to die. Somebody breaks in your house, you can kill them. But that baby didn't commit murder. It didn't rape anybody.
It was lawful. If we're going off this one definition of murder, it says
I do not hold.
Lawful.
Morality is not given by the government because the government can be wrong. We saw that with slavery, and we saw that with Hitler.
But you're switching up. You're
No,
saying,
I have an objective moral foundation that I'm working from because God has said, "You shall not murder."
So
God
you get
has said that.
God.
You can only have objective morality if you have a God. Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Well, okay, atheism. Where does
Yeah.
your objective moral foundation come from? Objective.
I'm not going to go out into the street and kill someone because that's wrong. Why
Yeah.
would I want that? There's
Well,
no-
and you know that because you're made in the image of God.
Okay.
But it's
by your
Yeah.
logic, if
Yeah.
atheists don't have a God,
mhm.
and if all morality comes from God, then all atheists
They
are
have a God.
unmoral.
They have a God. They have a God. They just deny him.
Okay, so wait, what are you even saying then?
They have a God, but they don't worship him.
Okay, so but their morality, so do you think atheists have morality or not?
Atheists intrinsically have a moral compass, yes, because God made them that way.
Okay, but I mean,
But the problem is atheists have a moral compass because they're made in the image of God, obviously, but they don't have a foundation for it.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, what if there was a Christian who was a murderer, who believed in God and he got his morals from God, but he still went out and murdered unmorally? What's your explanation?
He would be sinning, and he probably isn't a Christian if he's just murking people.
Okay, but even if he's not a Christian, they have the same God. Sure.
Well,
Like, one God.
atheists reject God,
But they still have.
but
right?
he's still there. Objectively, he's still there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He's still there. They still have the morals that were given to them by this God.
Yep.
How can murder even exist if every single person on this planet has morals given by God?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Can you ask that in a different way?
how can, if everybody on this planet
Yeah.
was made by God,
Yeah.
and they were, each and every one of them were given morals, how can anyone do anything unmoral if they all have the same set of morals?
Because God has spoken. Because the Bible is clear. Where there is no law, there is no sin. So God gave the 10 Commandments. You've probably heard of those before. I'm not sure. God gave stuff like the 10 Commandments. You shall not murder. You shall not lie, steal, rape, whatever. Well, he didn't say you shall not rape, but there's another law that goes with that. So if God, the people that, if you murdered somebody way back when, and you didn't actually, and God hadn't spoken and never said that murder was wrong, you can't be condemned for murder because there's no law. So God cannot justly punish somebody if they're not aware that it's a sin, but God has spoken. God has said murder is wrong. Okay? And as an atheist, you can still say murder is wrong, but you don't have an objective foundation for it other than your moral compass. Because if it was only based off moral compass and what everybody individually believed, then rape would be right because somebody believes it's right. Pedophilia, child sacrifice, that would all be correct because it's based off everybody's moral compass. Because people got screwed up moral compasses because we're sinful. So, as an atheist, where does your objective moral foundation come from?
I guess I don't totally have an answer because I just do things that I think are right because I think they are right.
So, okay. So, what if you thought that rape was right? Would that make it right?
I don't think that rape is right. So that's a loaded question.
But hypothetically, because we're hitting hypotheticals, somebody out in the world who's an atheist believes that rape is moral. Why are they wrong?
In my mind, they're wrong. In their mind, they're right.
By whose standard are they wrong by, though?
My standard.
But
by my standard, they're wrong.
So, I think you can see the tension. If morality is based off individual ideas of what is moral and what is not, then there's actually no evil. I'm not sure if you know who Richard Dawkins is. Do you?
No.
Okay, he's a super famous atheist, and he's written books about it. He's a consistent atheist. He says there is no evil, there is no good, only pitiless indifference. That is atheism at its finest, because as an atheist, you don't have a foundation for morality. There is literally no good and evil in your eyes. You have to base it off every individual.
There is good and evil in my eyes.
Objectively?
I'm not sure what you mean by objectively. Because
absolutely. How can you say that murder is absolutely wrong? How can you say that murder or rape are absolutely wrong? Evil?
I just can't. What do you mean, how can I?
Because you have to have a standard. Because if morality is subjective, kind of with what atheism pushes, if it's only subjective, then there is no good or evil. That's why Richard Dawkins can say that. Because if morality is subjective, there is no evil at all. Objectively.
There is no evil.
Objectively.
I disagree.
How? Why?
Because if it's in everyone's mind, I think everybody has an idea of what is evil and what is good. So for everybody individually, there is good and there's bad.
So if everybody agreed that something was evil or good, so if everybody agreed something is good, then that makes it right.
No.
Okay, why?
I mean, you can't place a 100% objective on that.
Exactly, right? Because I'm not sure if you've ever read the Bible at all. In the Old Testament, there were these people that were literally burning their babies alive because they thought it would rain because of it, because they were worshiping a god. So that whole society believed that burning their babies was okay. So if America went back to burning their babies alive, would that be okay? If America went back to doing that, or if they did that, which I would argue we are because we're murdering our children in the womb. But at the same time, say they went full-blown Canaanite religion, burn your babies in the street, it needs to rain to make our crops grow. Would they be morally, objectively wrong for doing that?
In my opinion, yeah.
No, objectively.
I don't think there is an objective.
Okay.
For me, that would be wrong. For them, that wouldn't.
But you said that there is no objective morality.
That's what I just said, yeah.
Okay, so therefore there is no evil. And what they would be doing is not evil in your worldview.
It would be.
Not objectively. Not objectively.
To me, it would be evil.
but you don't have a foundation for any kind of morality because you've denied the God that gives you morality. So your foundation is pulled out from underneath you.
I never said that I deny God.
Do you believe in a God?
I believe that there is a higher power.
Okay.
I don't subscribe to any one set of ideals. I do what I think is right and what's wrong, and that seems to be working out all right for me.
Okay. So if you were to die right now, where do you think you would go, heaven or hell?
I'm not sure. I don't know if hell is even a thing. Or if
okay. So God has objectively spoken and said, the wages of sin is death, and you deserve to die. Everybody. It's not just you. I deserve to die for my sin. Everybody has sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. That's what the Word of God says. So if God was to judge you off His law, for example, if He was to say, I'm sorry, what's your name, bro? We've been talking for like an hour. I'm not even sure what your name is.
That's all right.
Okay. I'll call you Jacob. Jacob. Have you ever lied, Jacob?
Yeah.
Okay. So God says you shall not lie. Okay. Fair enough. Have you ever hated anybody before?
That's a toughie.
Okay.
I would say I would lean. At least right now, I lean towards no. Ever?
Okay.
Maybe when I was a child, yeah, because
Okay.
I didn't have a full grasp of.
Well, regardless, sin is sin. So if you've ever hated anybody, God says hatred is equal to murder. Okay. So have you ever stolen anything?
No.
Okay. So let's just go off the two we already talked about: lying and murdering, or lying and hatred. God says that you would be a lying murderer if He was to judge you right now for your sins, and you would be cast into the lake of fire because you're a sinner. Me too. I'm a sinner too, and I've done those things also. But God became a man 2,000 years ago, and He died and took the punishment that we deserve for our sins against Him. So the Creator that was sinned against was punished in the place of His creation, so that by faith in what He did, that would save you. That's free. And so based off those, if God says you've sinned and you will go to hell for your sin, where do you think you would go when you die?
Who knows?
Hell. By God's standard.
If by that set of religious beliefs, yeah, that I would go to hell. But
you go to hell. Okay.
Who knows if that's the right? Who knows if that's what's going to happen?
Yeah, because Jesus rose from the dead. 2,000 years ago, a guy named Jesus, who was God in the flesh, died on a cross and rose from the dead.
Okay.
And the Bible even teaches that is the hinge that the Bible swings on. If that didn't happen, if the resurrection didn't happen, Christianity is a fake religion. So that's what proves Christianity. So it doesn't matter if you don't believe it or not. It's still the objective truth, just like abortion is still objectively murder because it's the unjustified killing of a child in the womb.
So is that your new definition of murder?
That's God's definition of murder.
Okay, so is that the definition you're going off this whole time, or?
Well, the only reason I'm reading you legal definitions, I'm getting on your plane because you don't even believe in God. You don't.
I said that I did.
No, you don't objectively believe in the God of the Bible.
I mean, I believe that there is a higher power.
Indifference is still unbelief, regardless. Indifference is still unbelief.
Okay, well.
So, and therefore, by not trusting in the one who died in your place, you're rejecting Him. So,
I'm not
okay, so trust in Jesus, and He'll wash your sins clean.
Okay, I mean, I don't know where to go with this. I don't think that abortion is wrong in all cases.
Abortion is wrong in any case because it's always the killing of a child.
And I disagree with that.
Okay, so I'll just use your word, zygote. Is that a newly formed human being in the womb? Per science.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you kill a human being without cause, without it doing anything evil that deserves the death penalty.
Human person?
Doesn't matter if it has personhood or not. It's a human being.
In my opinion, it does.
But your opinion, but in your worldview, rape can also be morally right.
No, in my worldview, rape is morally wrong.
In the atheistic worldview, rape is not a moral crime.
In my worldview, it's wrong.
But okay, by who?
Right. And
And
I think
again,
ask 99% of atheists, they would agree that rape is wrong.
yeah, but without warrant. Without warrant, because you don't have a foundation for morality.
What does it matter if I have a foundation or not? I don't think rape is right. I think that's
because if you say from a worldview that doesn't believe in objective morality, if you say something is wrong to you, that doesn't mean it's objectively wrong. Because if atheism is true, then there is literally no evil at all. This is the consistency of that world, because we're just primates that evolved. And if we're just primates that evolved, primates killing each other in the jungle isn't wrong, right?
I mean,
because they're animals.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, that's a little bit. Yeah,
and,
we do have a understanding.
Okay,
I think it's the reason it's wrong for us is because there is mostly no reason for another person to kill another person unless it threatens their survival, and that's
that's not murder.
That's killing.
If somebody comes and is trying to harm you, you have the right to defend yourself. Yeah, objectively.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's not wrong for animals to kill each other, because they're killing each other for food and for predation.
But they're also just animals.
Yeah, and humans do the same thing. If somebody breaks into your house, you can kill them. That's you protecting your own survival.
Yeah, but monkeys aren't conscious human beings. Apes aren't conscious moral beings. They're just animals, just like a lion. Like, you're not, like, if you see a lion tearing apart a gazelle because it's hungry, that would be like the robber breaking in my house and killing me because he wants my stuff.
Yeah.
In your worldview, that's the same thing.
No.
Morally, it's the same thing. Yeah, in your worldview. In the atheistic worldview.
Dude, a lion is killing a gazelle because it has to survive.
Yeah, but if we're just animals...
developed brain like we do.
But if we're just animals, we're just developed animals that can break into each other's houses and kill each other because we want to. Just like a lion can kill a gazelle if it wants to.
I think 99% of the people that break into other people's houses and kill them is not because they want to. I think it's because they were kind of backed into a corner, and that's the end result. Like,
does
if
that
they
justify
were
that?
And they needed money, they break into the house.
But it doesn't justify the killing of the person that they the person's house they broke into. It doesn't justify them killing them.
No, not in my opinion. No.
Well, not in the atheistic worldview. It doesn't matter because it's just an animal killing another animal.
I mean, I think it does matter. I don't think that people could be going into their houses and killing each other.
Should lions kill gazelles?
I think lions do kill gazelles. I don't think it's a should or shouldn't. It's just a fact.
Is it morally wrong for an animal to kill an animal?
No.
Okay. If we're just evolved animals with no God and no morality, why is it wrong for us to kill each other?
I think humans do have morality.
No, objectively. We're just animals. I'm working off your worldview. We're just animals, and we have made up laws to make ourselves feel better. That's it. We're animals that have made up fake laws.
I don't think it's to make us feel better. I think it's to make us function as a society. That's literally to make us feel better. No.
Yeah, if you're just doing it to better society, that's to make us feel better. That's all it is.
It's to make us function better.
And you feel better by proxy.
Not all laws make me feel better. Therefore, that's not the absolute purpose of laws.
Do murder laws make you feel better?
I mean,
that you're protected by the government if somebody tries to kill you. Does that not make you feel safe?
Makes me feel safe, sure.
Okay, so it makes you feel better.
Yeah, sure. That's one law.
Rape.
Having to pay like $1 bajillion to go to college, that is set up by laws. That doesn't make me feel better.
I would say that that's unjust. I agree. So at the same time, rape laws, murder laws, theft laws, those are all there to make you feel better.
No.
Like, so who gets to decide, if we're just animals, who gets to decide what's moral and what's not, and why should they be allowed to do that?
I don't agree with a lot of what politicians do. So, I mean,
Okay, well, why?
Hmm?
If they're the ones making the laws and we're just animals, why does your opinion matter versus the collective?
Versus the collective. I mean, it's not really a collective. It's
Of the
a
government.
very, very, very small group of people that is actually making these decisions.
Okay, I mean, I would agree, but the government itself.
Sure. I think my opinion matters just as much as theirs, but I think
Why?
that their opinion has more reach than mine and has more
It
power
does.
because they are in power.
Yeah, but having power might doesn't make right. You can't have a bunch of power and that makes what you do morally right.
Yeah, I'm not saying that everything that they do is right. I'm saying
Just like the Epstein Island thing. Epstein Island thing was a whole bunch of bigwig people that were sleeping with children, and that was morally abhorrent, right? I said that the Epstein Island thing, that was an objective moral evil, yeah?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, by what standard is it objectively evil to rape children?
Human standards? I don't know.
No, objective standards.
What standard would you say?
God says that if you rape, you deserve to die.
What's the standard though? Like, is there a specific standard?
Yeah, if you have sex with somebody against their will, you're raping them. Therefore, you deserve to die.
Okay, so that's your standard.
That's God's standard. Yeah.
Huh?
That's God's standard. Yeah.
So you hold the same standard, so it's also your standard.
Well, it's not. No, it's not my standard. I just submit to God's law. Because it doesn't matter what I believe. It matters what's objectively true. Yeah. And you should be the same thing. You should be the same way, seeking the truth no matter where it leads you, no matter how uncomfortable it makes you. You should want the truth. Yeah.
Sure.
So, but anyway, you don't have to. I would love to have another conversation with you, but my wife wants me to come make dinner. So, so here, if you don't have to, I'm not sure if you're on your phone. I'll put my Instagram.
That's all right. Have a nice day.
Hey, you have a great day, bro.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye. Man. Oh, man. Well, he wouldn't tell me his name. It's okay, but no progress. It's fine. That was interesting, to say the least, but it's fun. We'll try it again. We got way sidetracked on a lot of stuff, but all right. Talk to y'all later. It was a great time, and that was actually a really smart kid. I mean, he was really witty. I'm not sure how old he was though.